Hello, friends. Previously, we were presenting about the three little pigs in a PowerPoint, but we were having some technical issues. So I wanted to demonstrate you guys the Word document that we did. So the group was Anayeli, Maria, and Nayeli. The grade level that we focused our lesson was for second graders. The lesson plan was for the whole week. Every lesson is for 45 minutes per day. And here we have the central focus, some of the academic learning standards. And as you can see, there's a few ones. Learning goals. I will be reading some of the learning goals for this activity. Will be understand what is happening in the story as and sequence events, recognizing the new words, understand why people in the community vote, why people in the community vote in elections to choose, as for example, for president or for office, and voice their opinions when voting as they did when they vote had to pick on one of the stories or one of the versions of the story who was telling the truth, the wolves or the pigs. Develop an understanding of how the text connections to each other and that different people. Students will be able to understand the meaning of vocabulary and know how to behave in a show. They're gonna remember parts of the stories to build their own houses, out of tiles, sticks and straws. And those are some. And the language target is gonna foster vocabulary growth, practice making predictions, voice their opinions when picking who is telling the truth, and most of all, using their imagination is very important. And curiosity, enthusiastic in learning. Share feelings and thoughts about the events and characters in the text, and use spoken, written, and visual language to communicate understanding. Successful criteria will be I can make sense of the various things they observe. I can develop disposition for learning, such as curiosity, comparison, confidence, creativity, commitment, enthusiasm, and persistent imagination and reflexive. Um, I can collaborate with classmates to create a resolution to the problem posed within the given story. I can make predictions. I can match words to pictures. I can vote for who is telling the truth. And most of all, I can give my point of view. The central question is, why did the author wrote the story of the three little pigs? What was the author trying to transmit to the audience? And the diagnostic. We will be making a KW chart that will be visual during the 5-day lesson. We will then begin by asking students what they know about the story, what they want to learn, and what they learn at the end of the story. And for the formative, we're gonna do an oral pre-assessment. Students will answer questions about the book to check if it's any connection with the book. And in second one, it's gonna be to complete a little chart of the somebody want, but so if the students are able to complete it without help or without or working together, they're gonna show they were able to understand the whole story throughout the readings. So if the students are able to complete the sum, what, but so with a partner or in their own, they will show that they were able to remember, recall, recount, summarize, identify the main ideas, recognize cause and effect and relationships, identify differences between characters, explore points of view. By using this strategy, somebody want but so will be a way to assess students' learning and understanding. And these are some of the examples in English and Spanish. And this is making predictions and verbal open-ended questions. Students are going to do a self-assessment. For example, the teacher will be, I can describe where is the story takes place, and the student is gonna make a check mark in either yes or no. And I can tell when the story takes place, the time of the day or season, and the student's gonna check either check yes or no, and they will continue on. And for the summative, I will have students. We will have students do a puppet show for not for only for this for their classmate, but we're also gonna have parents to come and see while the students do an act the story. But this will allow them to show their understanding of the story and how planning takes time and making good choices when constructing and completing their tasks. The goal is to make the students feel comfortable and praise them for their hard work through the 5-day lesson. So in this, the summative is gonna be, they're gonna show everything they learn by arranging the classroom, setting up for the show, making their puppets, making the houses sort of I said straws, bricks, and popsicle sticks. They will be making their own houses for the show. This will show how they learn the content if they by building their houses and all that. And some of the strategies for diverse learners is I will have some KWL chart for students to be able to go back and reference it later when they are working in groups with partners and individuals to help remember and perform their tasks. Each group will consist of 1, 2, 4. This will ensure that an equal number of low and high achieving students are able to assist each other during each activity. Each activity will allow students to engage with each other as they perform the different activities. This will allow students, ELL students, to discuss tasks with Native American speakers and other ELL students alike, creating a more comfortable atmosphere to describe their assignment, brainstorm, and work together to perform the activity. And some cultural responsive teaching. The book is bilingual, both English and Spanish. During the readings, I will be making stops and we'll be making clarifications. In addition, if the student is not understanding in the English, I will take the time to explain it in Spanish too. And we'll be using really objects to make connections with the text. And these are some of the materials we're gonna be using to make the 5 activities for the week. We're gonna be using computer, printer, overhead projector, video camera, internet, and YouTube. The vocabulary, we have some vocabulary. We're gonna be introducing the book and the vocabulary with really objects. The way I will introduce the vocabulary and the book, it will be by bringing some real materials to the classroom. When I introduce the lesson, I will bring some straw, a few sticks, and real bricks for students to touch it and feel it and tell me whether it is hard, soft, or thick. We're gonna be making charts. These are some of the real pictures, such as one from the pig, wolf, and bricks and sticks and hay and straw, I mean. So the first lesson will be making a TW chart to introduce the vocabulary and the book and see how much the students know, and to see if they can match the word to the vocabulary. We're gonna have them do a worksheet where they're gonna do just basically match the word to the picture and then write the word to the side of the picture. In lesson 2, we're gonna build a story using a change of events and building the 3 Little Pigs house. So first, they're gonna do the change of events. First, I'm gonna read the beginning of the book. Then I'm gonna stop, and they're gonna draw something about the beginning. Then I will continue to the middle, and then they're gonna draw something from there, and at the end, I'm gonna have them make their own predictions about what they think is gonna happen. And also, I'm gonna tell them that there is different ways, different versions of the book. So each student could have a different thing, and that's okay. And then when that activity is done, I'm gonna have students do groups of 4, and I will have the materials ready. So I'm gonna have straw, some popsicle sticks, and magnet tiles. So for each group of students, one group is gonna have the popsicle sticks, and the other one is gonna have the straw, and the other group is gonna have the magnet tiles. So in this, the way I'm gonna do it is ask them to build the house out of those sticks, because we're gonna be using a hair blower to blow those house. So I'm gonna ask them to count either the popsicle sticks or the straws or the tiles, and make predictions of what house is gonna blow off with the air blower. And that's it. And the third lesson, we're gonna do a puppet show. So it's gonna be like a wrap-up. They're gonna create their own little, using a change of events, they're gonna create a puppet for the 3 little pigs, and a puppet for the wolf using a paper bag. I'm gonna give them the patterns to cut out, and they're gonna color it if they want. And this is gonna be done individually. And then after they color the puppet, the teacher is gonna do a demonstration how to put the puppets together. And we're gonna let the students play around with their little puppets for a little bit while the teacher gets ready for it, for the puppet show. And during the puppet show, we're gonna have students be part of the show. For example, when there's the repetitions, the students are gonna join in. For example, when it says, not by the hair on my chin chin, and when the wolf puffs to blow the house. After seeing the puppet, so there's is where I'm gonna have the student join in for the repetition phrases. So the student and the 4th one is gonna be where we're gonna compare both the 3 little pigs and the true story of the 3 little pigs. In this lesson, we're gonna have students watch a YouTube video about the true story of the 3 little pigs. And we're gonna let the students use their puppets to follow along. And then when they're done watching the video, we're gonna do a Venn diagram to compare the 3 little pigs and the true story of the pigs. And after that, I'm gonna have students do a Venn diagram by themselves. This Venn diagram is gonna be about comparing and contrasting fantasy wolves with the real wolves. The teacher is gonna demonstrate, look up in the internet to help them understand the differences, and then students are gonna do it in their own. And during the day, we're also gonna add and paste in a chartboard the wants and needs that we in order for us to, like, for water, food, and shelter. And lastly, for that certain day, we're gonna have a boat. We're gonna have students pick which story is better, or what story they like better, and they're gonna vote for one. And we're gonna do a graph chart for them to see which story they like. We're gonna also be I'm gonna use a video to explain what both means, so they can have a better picture of it, and it can help them make a decision of what both means and what story they should pick. I'm gonna have a teacher dress up like a wolf, and the teacher is gonna pretend she is the wolf, and she's gonna be answering some questions about the story, or you can be making it up and all that. So the students first are gonna create a chart about the wolf. For example, they're gonna ask some questions like, what house will you build? What kind of material you want you will have used, or by helping other students are gonna help us set up the classroom. This activity will help students get their muscles moving and refresh their minds and be ready to listen to the interview. And to end all this story and the learning, the students are gonna write a letter to the author of the Three Little Pigs, telling either what they liked about the story, what they didn't like, what conclusion, if they should change the conclusion, or they can even make suggestions for another book. And some of the focus lessons, the focus of the lesson will be learn about the Three Little Pigs. Students will be able to listen, read aloud. So basically, review learning type and successful criteria. The students will connect information from a passage to students living real world issues. The students will be able to identify the concepts of good and poor choices when the pigs build their own houses, and what happens when the pigs make poor choices. The students will become familiar with the character and take ownership of them and feel connected about the Three Little Pigs and the wolf. And some of the extensions for this lesson will be recreate the story, draw a story map, retelling the truth on the structure of the story, make your own puppet to show, or to make the show, or narrate the show, and how the different students act out the different parts of the show. That will be the end of the lesson. I hope you guys enjoy it and keep this lesson for future reference or for teaching too. It will be fun. So I hope you enjoy it and have a nice weekend.